This is a part of our Vendor Spotlight series. Thank you so much for joining us. To start off, why don't you tell us a little bit about Jurny's origin story and what inspired its creation?
I've been in the hospitality industry for about 12 years. I've grown and scaled a couple different management companies. The last one to about 300 units across 5 different cities in US, specifically the Airbnb and boutique hotel space. And as we were growing and scaling that company, we started realizing that we wanted to automate a lot of the processes and the moving aspects, especially of a fragmented industry and fragmented tech stack that exists in and still exist in the short-term rental hospitality space. And so we started building a lot of technology internally. And as we were developing those tools internally and creating a more complete end-to-end tech stack, we started deciding to see if maybe it could have been a tool that would help other property managers. And so that's kind of how Jurny started. From there, the mission of its core was the same from the management company to really to try to help to automate every aspect of the day-to-day operations so that property managers can focus on growing and scaling the business and focusing on guest experiences and creating a brand versus managing the day-to-day and the nitty-gritty of the business. So the mission has been the same from the very beginning and still is the same today. And luckily with technologies like AI, we were able to really take that to the next level.
So you've been working in this space for quite a while. What do you think makes Jurny different from other software in this similar space?
We're specifically a property management system called PMS, specifically more for the short-term rental space, although we do work with several boutique hotels and independent hotels. The biggest differentiating point for us is, well, I think there's been two phases of almost any type of software in reality, but really for the PMS space, two phases. You had on-site, on-premise solutions. Was the first generation PMSs. The second generation of PMSs have been cloud-based. So you had a whole new series of cloud-based. I think there is a third generation that is about to arrive, and we're first of its kind, which is AI-based PMSs, which is basically a lot more focus versus being a tool, a lot more focus on outcome, almost outcome as a service. That's been our approach from the very beginning, and I think that's the number one differentiator. And for us, in order to be that, obviously, besides knowing how to leverage this technology, how to leverage AI, it was really important to create this centralized infrastructure. There's an MIT study just recently talking about how 95% of businesses using AI fails. And the number one reason of failure is the lack of infrastructure. So if you want to have a system that properly works, it has to be built for that. And you have to have the proper infrastructure. Infrastructure means connectivity, centralization of data, structure of AI agents that can work with one another. That's what infrastructure really means.
And since you are, as you described, on the cutting edge of using new technology in this space, what would you say are a few standout features that customers appreciate the most about your solution?
The most utilized feature for us is the inbox. The inbox is where we centralize all communications from guests. So whether it comes from an email, whether it comes from a WhatsApp, whether it comes from an SMS, whether it comes from directly from the OTA, so Booking.com, Airbnb, they message you directly on the platform, relating to one centralized inbox. The AI enabled, so it does several different things. One, it can auto-prioritize your inbox, has sentiment analysis, does automatic flagging for specific things. So for example, if there's something that calls your attention, and I don't know if it's like a room service or whatever it's needed, you will have automatic labeling of all messages. Auto prioritize, auto label, all using AI. And on top of that, it allow you to have AI agents that are fully trained on your operations to actually answer a guest like you would have a 24/7 guest support. And it's both voice and messages. And you can train them based on your SOPs, based on internal documentations, and you can also train it on your past data. That's the
That
number one
sounds like a
feature
very
for us.
useful feature. So what you're saying is that everything from pre-arrival, post-departure, emails, confirmations, everything is centralized within your inbox, and that is something that users appreciate a lot about your solution.
Yeah, exactly. That's, I
You
think
also
that,
mentioned,
yeah,
Mhm.
sorry, just to finish on that, that's the epicenter of the entire platform, right? Everything is connected to that. And then from there, like you can assign different tasks, cleanings, and so on. And then there's also features like additional features attached to that main one, like automated upsells, AI-enabled upsells, where people can basically sell like create like late checkouts or early check-ins, travel insurance, or additional experiences, concierge services, and so on. It can all be fully automated, and you can create automated upsells.
And you mentioned right now that you integrate with OTAs, and that's information that you're pulling as part of the centralized communication system. Can you talk a little bit more about how you integrate with OTAs, what facilities you offer in that regard?
We have whatever is usually available on that OTA. We have a full sync. So obviously, communication is one of them. Reservation is reservation information. So we try to pull in as much information as possible, and we also allow you to manage as many things those OTAs allow us to manage those on top of our platform. So, for example, automated reviews, even sometimes, for example, Airbnb, which has one of the most advanced, best APIs, so even handle tickets for guests and so on. So, resolution centers all centralized into one single place. As I mentioned before, managing reviews. So, guest leaves us a review, you can answer directly on our platform, or proactively you can leave a review to those guests, and that's also AI enabled, so it can be fully automated and fully personalized.
And you touched on a little bit about how sentiment analysis and how this data can be used. Can you tell us a little bit more about what type of real-time reporting and analytics Journey provides?
Yeah, so we have, I guess, like all the standard reportings and analytics that will come with any PMS platform. And then we have for different fields, basically, as I was mentioning before, the infrastructure is important, having different AI agents doing different things, which they can interact with one another. But for specifically for data, we have, it's called, our network of agents is called NIA, and we have a NIA data scientist. So NIA data scientist is specifically focused on data analysis. So it's almost like having your own analysts working for you that have access to all your data, so you can ask it questions about trends, suggestions, gaps, recurring trends. So it's pretty advanced. We don't even know how far we can take that, right? Like sometimes it surprises us ourselves.
Is that something you're working on, developing that even further so you can offer even more in that area?
All our AI systems, like we just released our latest. We're in the middle of releasing our third generations of our like AI network of agents. It's called NIA 3.0. So we're constantly developing and improving. It's a we're at the early stage. This technology is completely revolutionary already, even if it will stop developing, but it's developing at a speed of light. You have to constantly
And how
improve and
does the
develop it.
third variation differ from previous variations? So you're saying you're upgrading even further. How does the newest upgrade improve your platform even further than the previous version?
Higher accuracy, much higher accuracy, smarter, more natural language, more precise ability to solve even more complex problems. It's a combination of all of those things. Faster.
And in terms of, you mentioned a lot of online platforms. So can you talk about how Journey handles online payments and rent collection and things of that nature?
Yeah, so we integrate with several different merchant providers, and we can automate all of that. That's so basically on the PMS side, we do everything that all the major PMSs can do, with the addition of the extra layers of automations.
And is there anything else you want to highlight that you think is a specific feature of Journey that really sets it apart from other PMSs in like a similar niche?
Customers come to us for two main reasons. One is the centralized experience for themselves. Even if we do offer a marketplace of different vendors, even for, like, for example, for pricing management, we don't do it. We don't have our own internal tool. We use we just integrate with best in class. There's a few different options, a few different companies you can work. You can select from one, but those integrations are super deep inside our platform, so you can manage them right inside of our platform. The concept is to give you this like centralized operating systems that allows you to enable automation of and integrations of all the data into one centralized place, but at the same time, the management of all these moving parts from a centralized dashboard, which is kind of like the important factor also when it comes to infrastructure with AI, is to have this centralized place for data, organized place for data, organized place where you actually can take actions with that data. So the combination of AI and infrastructure is what's very unique and sets us completely apart from the competition.
And you mentioned that you're working in a short-term rental space. Could you maybe talk more about what types of businesses get the most value out of Jurny?
Businesses and property managers, specifically in the more in the short-term rental space, starts scaling. Our solution is more targeted to that because of the high demand of the AI in the centralized inbox. We have ways that we can work with hotel PMSs. So on the hotel space, basically, we would integrate our AI and our inbox on hotel PMSs so that we don't have to disrupt whatever infrastructure they have in place. It just sits on top. And the short-term rental space, because we came from there, we're specialized for that. We offer a 360-degree solution. I would say it start making sense above 10, 15 units when you start managing more than that. And then it's an absolute no-brainer when you start getting closer to the 100 plus units.
And would you say that Jurny scales with users' needs? So if a business is scaling beyond the capacity you mentioned, would you say that Jurny supports that scalability?
Yeah, we have, in the large size, we have infinite scalability. I think that when you're below 10 units, unless your goal is to really get into the hundreds, I don't know if it makes complete sense. There is a great level of efforts also from our team to make sure that you're fully trained on the platform, and it's a pro platform.
You mentioned that your team also works on training people when they're using the platform. What would you say is a common challenge that your customers face when adopting Jurny, and how do you solve it?
I think the probably number one challenge is to fully leverage everything that is available to you. You have so much, so many solutions, so many things. Users don't know how to fully leverage 100% of the platform. So they may see a lot of value from like 30, 40%, and then the remaining like 60, they don't even use it. But they're paying for it because they're paying the subscription is already there. So one of the things we're really working on is to run webinars in which we show some of our top performing customers who happen to be the ones that fully leverage the platform 100% or close to, and really show them like what are best in class doing and why are they being very successful using Jurny.
Maybe you could share a customer success story that really highlights Jurny's impact.
There's different levels of success and people like value success differently, right? Like there's some customers that they've seen the most of their success by increasing revenue quite a bit with automated upsells and increasing efficiency and freeing up a lot of their time. Then focus on how can they make more money, how can they retain customers, how can they sell them more than just a room. That's number one. But then we have other customers that they saw most of their value in making their operation more efficient, making their business a lot more scalable than it was before by allowing AI to take away a lot of the busy work and really focusing on scaling and what's important in the business.
That makes sense. Maybe we could talk on like a larger level. What would you say are trends that you see shaping your industry over the next few years, and how are you set up to deal with those trends and evolve your tool even further?
I keep falling down to AI because it is one of the most disrupting and innovating technology, I think, of probably maybe ever. Like internet was very disruptive, obviously. It completely changed how we do many businesses that create completely new businesses. And I think AI is going to be just as disruptive, if not more. And that's what I'm the most excited about, because I think the people that truly see this as an opportunity, I think if there will be a time where everybody knows how to leverage it and it will become kind of the norm. But I think for the next 3 to 4 years, maybe even longer, the people that jump on this at first and knows really how to leverage it, they will have massive advantages compared to everybody else. That is exciting to me. I think some people get scared with change. I think you have your entrepreneurial mindset, it excites you because you see like tons of opportunities, right? Yes, there will be disruption. Yes, there will be businesses that don't make sense anymore, but there will be also just as many, if not a lot more, new opportunities, new businesses, new ways of doing things that we couldn't do before. And it will bring a level of efficiency and elevated services across almost every single industry, especially hospitality, where there's like a heavy human touch, heavy hyper individualization that needs to happen. You can now create hyper individualization, hyper customization, hyper personalized touch at scale, which was impossible before. Like you had to really, it's the same across many industries, but especially in hospitality, you always had to choose like scale or high touch.
Personalization.
Exactly, personalization, hyper personalization. And I think we're moving into an era where does not need to be a compromise anymore. You can have both. You can have massive scale and hyper personalization, and both coexisting at the same time.
In this current landscape, do you feel like other PMS solutions that aren't integrating AI features, do you feel like they can compete with a solution here like yours, or are they simply not in the competition anymore?
Probably 95% of businesses don't yet either see or yet understand how they can use this technology to really create this additional value for themselves and for the people using it. It's going to take time. And it happened to be that we got very excited about this very early on before it became like a buzzword. And
Yeah.
when you start really working and experimenting with this technology, you start seeing the potential. And the more you do it, the more you understand. Many people say even if existing LLMs would stop developing tomorrow, we're yet to really see the value of what they could do in the market. We could see massive disruption even with today's technology, even if they stop developing. It's just learning how to leverage it, right? And I think most people don't know how to leverage it, and including ourselves, we're still exploring many new things. Like I think we're like completely ahead of the trend, but there's so much more to be discovered. That's the exciting part.
Just speaking about the buyer's perspective, what advice would you give to buyers evaluating PMS solutions in 2025?
Want to buy something that is going to be future proof. For a fact, there will be a lot of disruption in the future. You want to make sure that you're going and working with somebody who's future proof. It's a big job, changing from one PMS to another. You don't want to be swapping around every couple of years, and the people that are going to jump on this new trends are going to have pretty big advantages.
It's interesting that you mentioned that because like one could argue that that is a good reason why somebody may not shift to your solution if they're already using something else. Is there something you want to talk about in terms of the support you provide people who may be thinking of shifting from a different PMS solution to your PMS?
We really put customer success and customer support at the core center. We're a tech company, but we still believe that human drive a lot of the experiences and innovations. And so we really are people centric, and a lot of the efficiency we gain from one end using AI, we use those resources to give more human touch, more human support on the other, which I think is very important, especially in our industry where it feels like that support is very much not there many times, especially from many tech platforms, as we all
Yeah.
probably have experienced. So that's number one. And number two, of course, to try to create as many proactive automations on AI, but how can we automate as many things on that onboarding flow and experience so that you have to do the least amount of manual work as possible, and we can focus our time actually on how to create more value for you, show you things that maybe you didn't know before.
When you're talking about automating, so earlier you spoke a bit about communication and how you're centralizing that. When we're talking about things like maybe housekeeping or other concerns that people face when they're managing properties, can you speak maybe a little bit more about what you offer on that end or how Jurny supports just the day-to-day management issues that people run into?
We have a task management built inside of the platform, auto assignments of tickets, requests, cleaning, and so on. That's fully automated. We're a full stack PMS. Anything from there is operational. Automate or make sure that you can keep track of it.
And when you talk about full stack, you are also talking about things like maybe integrations with accounting software and other things, financial management features of that nature.
Yeah, absolutely. Industry is so broad that there's always going to be like maybe a specific solution that we don't integrate with and so on. But also depending on the customer size and the needs, that we're obviously there to listen very fast on implementing new solutions and new integrations. So for us, it's not too big of a problem to create some level of customizations. We actually even have like an offering that it's more for an enterprise customers that can basically give you a fully customized solution, even if you have to have custom integrations of custom build. That's also something that we offer. It's very limited offering on that, but that's we can go as far as that
No, but
as well.
that's interesting. So if you're offering customizable solution to enterprise organizations, maybe you could talk a little bit about what that entails and what you can offer in that area.
Yeah, we call it Jurny One for larger customers because it's more expensive, the initiation fee, obviously, because we have to do a lot of work. But there's not a management company in our space that is the same one another. They're all different. They all have very unique needs and unique ways on how they run their operations. There's no standardized model. What that means is that uh, it's going to be almost impossible to have a one solution fits all. And especially as you get when you're like a medium scale, it doesn't impact your business as much. When you start becoming very large, 100 units plus that you have to manage, these problems start becoming bigger and bigger and bigger. And then you may take a very unique approaches to the markets and unique business models. Requires custom software. Maybe you built some internal solutions already. So you need a system that adapts and can actually custom integrates or creates specific custom solutions specifically for you. And we do that. And there is the personalized training of AI as well, which is also coming from that as well. So like creating unique, customized training and AI agents to do specific tasks that maybe take a very large portion of the time of your organizations and can make your organization a lot more efficient and effective.
Okay, great. Thank you so much for your time. Thank you for
Thank
being a part of our
you.
series.
Yeah, thank you. Great
Okay,
to meet
it
you.
was great
Bye.
meeting you. Thank you.